Hello friends, today we embark on a journey filled with mystery and astonishing discoveries, exploring the 10 mysteries of the Bucegi Mountains. This area, rich in history and legends, hides secrets that go beyond the bounds of our imagination. We will talk about living water, with revitalizing properties, about secret tunnels that traverse the depths of the mountain, and about mysterious portals that might be gateways to other worlds. We will lose ourselves in stories about heaven's gates, those places where nature seems to be in perfect harmony and where time stands still, and we will feel the power of strong energetic poles, attracting seekers of mystery and spirituality from all over the world. Join us on this captivating journey through the Bucegi Mountains, where reality meets fiction, in a documentary that promises to keep you on the edge of your seat. Creepy, dangerous, and mysterious, the Bucegi Mountains are considered a real energy pole in the paranormal literature. From underground tunnels to mouths of heaven, unreal paths, and places highly charged with energy, the Bucegi Mountains arouse the imagination of those who cross their paths. There is a very rich specialized literature on the subject of mysteries and paranormal phenomena in Bucegi. According to her, the Bucegi Mountains are dotted with mysterious places, areas highly charged with energy, where equipment triggers itself or people feel strange symptoms, portals through which people disappear and appear in other places, very far away. It is also said about Bucegi that they are dotted with dozens of kilometers of underground tunnels, but also with places where people are miraculously healed thanks to the living water and the mouths of heaven. 1. The secret network of tunnels and the Golden Triangle of Dacia. One of the hypotheses that arouses the imagination of mystery lovers from Bucegi is that of the existence of a network of underground galleries inside Bucegi. Theories range from a network that communicates underground with the pyramids in Egypt to the existence of a secret base that no one should know about, or tunnels built by extraterrestrial civilizations that closely monitor everything that happens on Earth. The tunnels would have been known to a very small number of people since the time of the Dacians, when they either had a strategic role or hid a treasure. Those who took care of the measurements say that there are galleries that communicate through the mountain with Retezit and Rural from the Sila Massif. On these peaks, as on the Omu Peak, there would have been sanctuaries that, together, formed the Golden Triangle of Dacia due to the impressively high energies that would be found in the 3 points. 2. The secret of the Izvor Tunnel that connects Prahova with Dâmboviţa. The construction of the famous Izvor Tunnel, which would connect the counties of Prahova with Dâmboviţa through the Bucegi Massif, began in 1913. The CFR then approved, with the approval of King Ferdinand, the construction of the Targovist, Pietrasada, and Sinaia Highway, and the shortest version was through the mountain. This is how it was decided to break the Bucegi Massif in the Paducioso area to shorten the distance between Moroeni and Sinaia. The First World War stopped the work in 1914, it being resumed only in 1938 and abandoned again. In 1941, the Nazi occupation troops resumed construction at the fastest pace up to that time, but the end of the war also meant the end of the works, not the work itself. In the Dâmboviţa part of the tunnel, 480 meters were built, of which only 100 meters were concreted. If it had been built to the end, it would have been 20 kilometers long and would have been the largest tunnel in Romania. The real reason why this tunnel mouth was closed is not known even to this day. There are, however, a series of local legends circulating according to which national security would have been invoked by the authorities at the time, but also the fact that the Germans had buried here a unique locomotive in all of Europe, and the technique was not supposed to come into the hands of the Russians under any circumstances. In 1985, 2 security teams detonated the entrance. Some voices say that the regime wanted to hide the fact that, during the retreat, the Germans executed 100 locals who worked at the tunnel. Others say that the only reason was that of safety, since only one part was concreted. 3. The Sphinx and Babel. The mysteries surrounding the strange rocks. The Sphinx, the rock with a human face, arouses enormous interest for mystery enthusiasts. An anthropomorphic megalith located over 2,200 meters above sea level was named after its resemblance to the Egyptian Sphinx. Geologists attribute its formation to wind erosion, but the internet is also full of fanciful theories, which say that the Dacians carved the megalith or that it is of extraterrestrial origin. Theories have their origin in the fact that the Sphinx would be the oldest of our sacred symbols, existing even at the time of the Dacian kingdoms that worshipped Zalmoxis. Other stories say that between the Sphinx of Bucegi and the Sphinx of Egypt there is a three-dimensional time tunnel, an energy corridor. There have even been assumptions that the Atlas from Greek mythology is the peak of the man from Bucegi or Prometheus chained to a rock on the same peak, and Babel, some altars of an ancient civilization. 4. The Energy Pyramid. Another phenomenon related to the Sphinx, which gathers hundreds of people every year on November 28th, is the Energy Pyramid. On that day, enthusiasts of paranormal phenomena say that the sun's rays build, at sunset, an energetic pyramid around the face carved in stone. The conditions for the magical pyramid, formed by golden rays that shine strangely, are formed only on that date, and the appearance has a healing role for those who arrive in the area on this special day. There are also a number of people who would have been healed thanks to the pyramid, and they meet every year on November 28th, considering themselves chosen. 5. Gura de Rai, the magical place where fatigue suddenly disappears. Various theories claim that in the Omu Peak area is the so-called center of the earth, the place where the connection between heaven and earth would be made. Considered mouths of heaven in the Romanian tradition, such places drive away fatigue as if by magic, envelop the human body in positive energies, and cure certain diseases. Gura de Rai would be located on the road between Cabana Omu and Pestera. A similar place was also identified on a slope on the Bucegi Plateau, near the Sphinx. These places would be characterized by an atypical magnetic anomaly, an area that has beneficial effects on the human body. 6. Living water from the waterfall of the Seven Springs. One of the Bucegi myths, perhaps one of the most disputed, is related to living water, present in Romanian mythology by association with fairies and beautiful girls who regenerated their powers after drinking from it. Such a place would be at the waterfall of the Seven Springs in Bucegi, located between Lake Balbosi and Lake Scropoza, in the Isle Midii Valley. There are many myths about the water of the waterfall. First of all, the water carried by the Seven Springs is credited as the purest in the world, without nitrates and nitrates, titration not officially confirmed, but attested by microbiological studies. There are two theories for the purity of water. Either the stream passes through a magnetic field, which orders its molecular structure to the ideal, or it passes through a silver deposit that prevents the development of bacteria and purifies the water. A true mythology has been created around the pure waters from the Seven Springs. Netizens talk about the sacred springs of Zalmox, located right on the site of the waterfall. 7. The unreal path where people disappear without a trace. One of the paranormal phenomena that arouses the interest, but also the horror of sensationalists, is the unreal path from Bucegi. Locals from Bustini, but also people from the mountains, say that on the Jepii Mici route, going up the Valea Alba, in certain weather conditions, especially in the summer, when a thick fog appears on the mountain without an explanation, a narrow path appears, approximate 20 centimeters, parallel to the main path. In reality, this cursed path does not exist, and those who venture to tread it die or disappear forever. Only the lucky ones reappear after a long time, in other places in Bucegi, disoriented and lost, even injured, while most of those who walk on the path disappear without a trace, despite searches, or their bodies are discovered next spring, crushed by rocks. Local people say that the area is a temporal gate or an opening to the world beyond, and the experiences recounted by those who saved themselves are similar to those who experienced clinical death. Jepii's paranormal reputation also has its roots in the numerous serious, very serious, or fatal accidents that have occurred here. Numerous tourists have lost their lives on the Jepii Mici path, which is recommended only to the well-equipped and trained. 8. Valea Alba from Bucegi upsets cameras, causes dizziness and teleportation. Valea Alba is perhaps the most traveled unmarked route in Bucegi, a route that attracts adventurers like a magnet. Geographically, Valea Alba separates Mount Karaman from Mount Costala, being bordered on the right by the wall of the White Valley, a vertical giant, and on the left by Cresta Picaturii. One of the most famous legends of the area talks about a portal that would exist in Valea Alba. Locals and tourists reported that they met completely disoriented people in Valea Alba, kilometers away, who either didn't know where they were at all or thought they were in other places. There are many stories circulating in Bustini about the existence of portals that connect Valea Alba with Valea Alba or Valea Cerbului. A team from Lumea Misterler, a publication aimed at enthusiasts in the field, organized several expeditions in Bucegi and areas where there are reports of paranormal phenomena or absolutely inexplicable energies, including Valea Alba. In the valley, digital cameras would reset out of nowhere only to recover just as suddenly and inexplicably, or they would suddenly trigger and take very good photos. The women from the respective expedition also experienced states of emptying energy, vertigo, and loss of balance. Other people who arrived in Valea Alba say that the digital devices started working out of the blue and captured very good photos. 9. The hot stones from Gura Diham. A mysterious phenomenon also researched by the World of Mysteries team is that of the hot stones from Gura Diham. The parallelepiped stones that look like funerary monuments can be found on the forest road that leads to the Gura Diham cabin, about 4.2 kilometers from Bustini. Around them, the batteries of the cameras discharged out of nowhere, even though they were new, as well as the battery of the mobile phone or the video camera. The device recovered after the group moved away from the place. Somewhat further up the trail, the team members encountered a stand of trees within which there was an inexplicably warm draft, and the stones were also warm, although it was quite cool outside, the expedition taking place at the end of October 2009. Later returning to the area, together with several people, including skeptics, the researchers observed the same type of manifestations. In addition, the people who participated in the expedition experienced a draining of energy, and those who touched the mysterious tombstones even had dizziness, loss of balance, and felt a pressure in the chest for several minutes. 10. The mysteries of the hundreds of earthquakes in Bucegi since 1993. In 1993, between May 4th and June 10th, several dozen earthquakes occurred. There are also testimonies that there were several hundred, for which there are still no explanations that will satisfy everyone. According to the locals, the frequency of earthquakes was daily and occurred at fixed times. Some say that the times were 8 p.m. and 3 a.m., others say that the earthquakes occurred at 8:30 p.m. Their specificity was the fact that they were preceded by a loud roar, as if something had collapsed inside the mountains. The earthquakes had a fairly low intensity, of 3 or 4 degrees, but they occurred at a shallow depth of 10 or 15 kilometers, which made the noise from the mountains scare the locals. The peak was represented by an earthquake of 5 degrees, produced in the Bustini-Sinaia area, in the evening of May 23, 1993. The series of earthquakes raised many question marks, mainly because the Bucegi are not shaken in general, because they are not in a seismic area, but also because the series of earthquakes stopped suddenly and the crust did not. It would have been manifested since then. People say that they were so energetically charged that anything or anyone they touched produced a current that reached the point of mild burns. They had insomnia, and radio signals either dropped or suddenly amplified in certain areas. Also, although they had insomnia, people never felt tired. Their origin could not be precisely identified, and people then told that they suffered from insomnia or were extremely energetically charged. Also, radio communications were jammed or stopped suddenly. Studies were carried out in the area after the series of earthquakes, but their causes were not fully elucidated.